Well, in this case, it's actually a $20 million problem, but you won't find out until you're being blindsided in a meeting with the CEO and the CFO the following morning.
That's the reality for most procurement leaders today, and nobody knows this better than Walt Charles. Walt is a 7-time chief procurement officer at multiple Fortune 500 companies. He controls relationships with tens of thousands of suppliers and has managed hundreds of billions of dollars of spend. When True Horizon first partnered with Walt, he had one ask: can we answer those critical procurement questions in seconds rather than weeks? What you're about to see is how we solved that exact problem, what it meant for Walt and his business, and how it's going to change the future of procurement forever. Enjoy.
Yeah, so there are a lot of problems, right? So the first problem, and I'll give you the context from a chief procurement officer. You get an email from from someone in the business saying that it's 1:12 in the morning, saying that's a large number of parts just became unavailable because it failed receiving inspection. So the case study I think we had was I'm sat in the east coast of US, and at 1:12 in the morning last night there's a problem. 36,000 parts of some obscure part number from a supplier you don't really know is not going to be used for the planning group and manufacturing because it just failed receiving inspection. So quality just failed. And so the issue is, do you have a $2 problem, which you don't have to worry about, a $200,000 problem, or a $20 million problem? Well, in this case, it's actually a $20 million problem, but you won't find out until you're being blindsided in a meeting with the CEO and the CFO the following morning, right? And I was like, well, gosh, wouldn't it be great if we could leverage the power of LLM?
Obviously, we engaged together, and EP Squared and True Horizon partnered to build out this new novel AI capability.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess could you share any insight there?
Yeah, so a couple of key things. One, we said, okay, so we're going to build something called a revenue at risk model, right? And this is going to be a standalone module that folks could buy through kind of our EP Squared platform. And what's cool about EP Squared, the platform, is that it's a hyper-personalized data delivery platform. So what it does, it actually, because it knows who you are, what role you have within the business, who's on your team, and what workflows are the high-value workflows for you, it's able to then, integrate with your data sets and with this new capability to basically provide you with insights in a way that can add value for you. So, for example, the common questions that your CEO is going to ask you at 6 a.m. call is, what the heck is this part? What finished good does it go into? Right? They'll probably ask, do we have any alternative parts? What does the contract look like? There are just a number of questions that are routinely asked by senior leaders. And then, do we have any alternatives? So there's a bunch of stuff that are typically asked, and then they'll ask, okay, tell me about the supplier. What kind of relationship do we have with them? How much money do we spend with them? What do you know about them? And the good news is, at 1:12 in the morning, I was thinking, while I'm asleep somewhere on the East Coast and this thing is happening, I could spin up some bots to answer the routine questions that every single senior leader is going to ask you about this particular problem. That's a $20 million problem. And have the bot provide the answers kind of in a thumbnail so that you could basically, while you're sleeping, have the bots actually harvest the data you needed to be on your game, right? In a very professional way, represent your function to the leaders in the morning meeting. And that's how do you look like a superhero on top of a very, very dispersed set of facts, and do that in a setting leveraging the power of large language models. And that was the collaboration that we had. And by the way, you guys did, like I said, a phenomenal. is wicked cool, to say the least. And it allows, I, as a CPO, we do business with tens of thousands routinely, tens of thousands of suppliers each year. And at J&J, it was 100,000 plus, right? And so you can't possibly know all the suppliers that you actually do business with for your business. But you could certainly have a bot spin up the research to be meaningfully educated in near real time. And that was one of the things we wanted to drive at.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I appreciate that. I love that you said that you asked the question, how do you look like a superhero? And I think increasingly the answer is becoming utilize AI and agentic AI and many of the features that we built out. So in respect to our actual engagement, us working together, EP Squared and True Horizon, we collaborated with a number of different folks on your team, with an engineer, project manager / engineer. I guess, could you paint a little color as to how it was actually working with us? Everything from the basics of like how we communicate up to maybe even like the quality of the solution that we delivered. If there's anything you'd want to share there.
Yeah, it was actually it was fantastic. Obviously, most of LLM stuff was and is new, and it's rapidly evolving. When we did our engagement with you guys, it was last year, October timeframe, and so that was pretty freaking awesome. But I'll tell you, working with you guys was awesome. You guys were extraordinarily professional. We would have the meetings to kind of talk through what we were trying to build, where the data were. We had to actually map out the data infrastructure that we had within not only the EP Squared platform, but the data that we would also be extracting from other sources. And then we had to figure out how to get that into a way that the LLM could actually manage it. And you guys use a series of bespoke tools to actually run at that. One of them being an 8N in the process. So yeah, very, very excited. It's still, for me, I mean, it's a dream to be in a situation where I think I could fix something that was the bane of my existence as a CPO at most of the companies that I worked at, right?
That you'd be willing to share about the future of the features that we partnered together on.
Yeah. So a couple of things, right? So I've been on a speaking circuit for, I don't know, a decade or so, maybe 2 decades. And so I've got the very good fortune of knowing personally about 30,000, mostly supply chain and procurement professionals on LinkedIn, right? As one of my platforms in social media, right? And these are the people that are running, probably trillions of dollars cumulatively of spend, because it doesn't take a lot of procurement people to actually manage trillions of dollars, believe it or not. So long and short, the future is you will start to see announcements of us partnering with of key players to help solve various aspects of that problem. One of them I'm gonna break for you today, or so that you have it, is a company called Cievo. And Cievo is the world-class database. They can extract data from any source anywhere, irrespective of those differences. And they've got already probably the best reputation in the industry, with $2 trillion worth of buying activity going through their platform now, 100 million suppliers, and so we're announcing a partnership with Cievo to kind of take those data and then provide a hyper-personalized and curated data delivery platform to get the data from where it's at in those disparate silos to the people that need to action it and make better decisions for the business. And so that's coming.
I'm glad there's a bright future ahead here for the LLM and AI solutions that we built. And final question that I have for you is, would you feel comfortable referring True Horizon to trusted business partners or connections of yours, and trust that we would be able to follow through and deliver high quality solutions for anyone that you refer us to?
The answer is absolutely yes. You should absolutely consider True Horizons as a value-added partner to help you take your napkin sketch from what it is you're trying to get done, and to put it into something that can actually output the data insights and decisions that you need to make better outcomes for your business. So yeah, I would absolutely do that. And it was a pleasure working with you and your team. And I look forward to continuing the engagement as things develop, as things go forward.